The first rule of Sun Tzu's way of deception is perhaps the most humbling for a proud commander. Pretend to be incompetent. In a world where everyone wants to look strong, Sun Tzu argues that looking weak is your greatest tactical advantage. If the enemy is always watching, and in the 21st century they always are, you must give them a show that leads them to their own destruction. Sun Tzu's philosophy is simple. Strategy is built on perception. If the enemy perceives you as unprepared, disorganized, or incapable, they will build a strategy to exploit those weaknesses. But because those weaknesses are fake, their strategy will be fundamentally flawed. They will walk into a trap of your own making. In the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, we have seen strategic incompetence used as a lethal tool. The decoy trench and the soft line. Consider the 2024 and 2025 defensive operations in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian forces often created soft points in their lines, sections that appeared to be manned by poorly equipped or unprepared units. When Russian commanders perceived this incompetence, they committed their heavy armor and elite storm units to break through what they thought was a weak link. However, the incompetence was a mask. The moment the Russian forces overextended into these weak sectors, they found themselves in pre-registered kill zones, where hidden artillery and FPV drone operators, who had been inactive and unprepared until that moment, wiped them out. By hiding the fact that they were ready to engage, the defenders turned the enemy's aggression against them. Sun Tzu warns, do not show your strength until the moment of impact. In early 2026, we see this in the deployment of new technology. A commander might have a new shipment of electronic warfare equipment. A proud leader would use it immediately to show strength. A Sun Tzu leader says, incompetent. They allow the enemy drones to fly freely for a week, making the enemy believe their drone supremacy is unchallenged. Only when the enemy launches a major offensive do they reveal the jamming, grounding the entire enemy fleet at the most critical moment. If you can control what the enemy thinks you can do, you control their next move. If they think you are a mess, they will be careless. And in war, carelessness is a death sentence. It takes a strong ego to pretend to be weak. But remember, it's better to look incompetent and win than look powerful and be defeated. We've just explored the first of Sun Tzu's 14 deceptions, pretending to be incompetent. It's a lesson in tactical humility. By the time we reach this point in 2026, we've seen that the loudest army is rarely the safest, and the weakest looking unit is often the most dangerous. To wrap up, let's look at the lasting impact of this mask on the battlefield. The bait of disorder. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we have seen instances where units appeared to be retreating in disorder, leaving behind non-functional equipment and chaotic radio chatter. To an observer, it looked like incompetence and collapse of morale. But as Sun Tzu taught, this incompetent retreat was often a lure to draw the enemy away from their fortified position and into the open, where they could be struck by hidden reserves. The danger of overconfidence. When the Russian military perceived the Ukrainian air defense as incompetent or depleted in certain sectors during early 2024, they flew sorties with more confidence and less escort. This wrong perception led to the loss of high-value A-50 radar planes and Su-35 jets. The defenders hadn't lost their skill. They had simply hidden their readiness until the target was too valuable to miss. Sun Tzu's warning is clear. If the enemy perception of your forces is wrong, their strategy will also be wrong. In 2026, with satellites and drones watching every move, incompetence is the only way to hide in plain sight. You don't hide by being invisible, you hide by being unimpressive. You make the enemy think you aren't worth the effort until you become the only thing they have to worry about. As you apply what you have learned in this lesson to your own strategic challenges, ask yourself, am I showing off my strength too early? Could I achieve more by letting my opponent underestimate me? Remember, the goal isn't to be incompetent, it's to make the enemy believe you are. So their plan for victory becomes their very blueprint for their defeat.